Hey guys, welcome to the first episode of the Kansas City Bucket List Podcast. I am Mindy Hargesheimer, your host, and I am incredibly excited because today I am at the Real Media Studios in Kansas City with Brad Burrow, who is the founder of Real Media. He and I are going to chat it up today about how we are working together to launch this podcast that is going to take Kansas City to a whole new level, storytelling of people and small business owners today. But we're going to start with everything that he and his team have accomplished here and how they're going to be working with me on the podcast to launch this great storytelling platform. All right. Hey, guys, it is Mindy Hargesheimer with Kansas City Bucket List here, and I am incredibly excited because I am officially launching my podcast. It's the Kansas City Bucket List Podcast in partnership with Real Media, and I am thrilled to have my first episode. My first guest is Brad Burrow, who is the founder of Real Media here in Kansas City, and we are going to chit-chat about all the things related to Kansas City and media and what we're going to be doing with the podcast. Super excited to be with you today, Brad.
I'm clapping for you. Good job. Good job.
Thank you. Thank you. I know, this is fun. We got connected through a mutual friend, Lindsay Howerton. Shout out to Lindsay Howerton. She's an amazing person here.
Yeah,
we'll clap for Lindsay Howerton.
Yeah, great.
I think we are both really big on, connections in Kansas City and the people that we meet. And Lindsay connected us not too long ago, actually.
Yeah.
And came in here and I saw that you had this incredible setup for podcast recordings. Yeah. And little background on myself is I'm kind of obsessed with podcasts. I listen to them all day, every day. I just am like a sponge and I absorb so much knowledge. And for a long time, I've actually been wanting to host a podcast. Yeah. And so it was to me kind of like the stars aligned when I came in here and I was like, this has to happen.
Yeah.
So you and I talked about it. This has been in the works for months. And so we are officially kicking off and you are my first guest, which is really exciting.
Awesome. Thank you for having me. This is an honor for me to be the first guest.
I know. And I am ready to dive into the history of one, Real Media, but two, you have a podcast as well.
Yes.
Which is?
It's called In a World with Real Media. So you have to do it with the movie voice. In a World with Real Media.
Yeah, so, I know. I'm not sure I have a movie voice, but you might be asking me to do that later.
There's a whole story behind that, by the way, how that happens. And I can tell that story at some point. But, I really, part of the job that we do here is interviewing people and bringing their stories to life. And I always get I love that part of our job, And so I have years of experience sitting behind a camera. Yeah. Asking people to tell their story and talk about their lives and stuff. And so for me to transition to podcasting was just like a natural thing.
Total natural.
And I'm just really curious about people's lives.
Me too.
How did you do what you're doing?
Yeah.
I want to ask you that question. KC Bucket List is incredible.
Thank you.
When I told my wife that what I'm doing, she's like, "Oh, I follow that."
I follow her.
Yeah. And so, I think that's why podcasting kind of became a thing. And I really just wanted to learn it.
Yep.
So I started a podcast and learned how to do it. And it's like, wait, we can do this for other people.
Yeah.
And so today we probably have, 10 or 15 podcasts that are done here.
Which is incredible.
Yeah.
And if I'm being honest, thinking about having a podcast, I had no interest in trying to learn the art and the craft, the science behind a podcast. I was like, I cannot imagine sitting in my home office trying to figure out the audio and everything. I'm like, that is just not the world that I'm great at. And when I connected with you, I was like, this is exactly the perfect partnership to have, and to have this, really sophisticated setup that you guys have. Because like you, I love the storytelling. Yeah. And thank you. Kansas City Bucket List has been going on for a little over 8 years. And truth be told, it really started with the getting to know people behind businesses here. So for example, my husband and I love to go out. We love to explore, try new restaurants, bars, live music, all the things. But when we go out, we'll go sit at the bar and have a drink before we sit down for dinner, and we will talk to the bartenders, or we'll talk to the baristas, or we'll talk to the general manager, and just kind of ask all these questions about how'd you come up with the name of this place? Yeah. What do we need to know? What should we try? And you get all these incredible details about how it came to be, how people started it. And if I'm being honest, I don't think I knew that storytelling really was what I would find myself doing until I did Bucket List. And now 8 years later, I'm like, that is what I love the most, is telling the story of the people and, how they started the family business. And I'm finding a lot of people are like, I want to tell my story. I've never had the chance to do that. And so it all came together where I'm like, this is the way that I want to expand upon what I've been doing in social media, to do more of the long form, give people the platform to really honestly kind of brag about what they've accomplished here, because we know that Kansas City is all about these people that are really shaping the city.
Yeah,
to be
Kansas City is an amazing entrepreneurial city. I mean, a lot of businesses here, and the stories. You know, what I'm attracted to about the stories and all of that is that you have to go through a lot to start a business. It's not easy.
Yeah.
And the people that do it are, tough. And they've battled through adversity, and that's, I think, the storytelling aspect of it. It's like you get to learn about how people are handling those things and how they've achieved things, and which ultimately helps me.
Oh,
it's like if they can go through that, I can go through that, and I can come out on the other side, and that's why I think podcasting is so powerful, because it's just so raw.
Yeah.
You and I talking right now, we're not scripted. We're just having a conversation.
Yeah.
And our true personalities are coming out, and that's what I think is going to be really cool about this podcast, is you're going to be able to get people in here, and we get to really hear about who they are.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so I have a little question about you.
Yeah.
I was doing a little research on you.
Uh-oh.
You were in a band?
I was.
Is that right? I want to hear a little bit more about this,
okay.
and then getting into like where you are, because you obviously have a very long, very, seasoned, experience within the world of, I guess, production and media and all this stuff, which is why I was like, this is a no-brainer to work with Brad and his team, and I'm so excited for what you guys are going to create for me as well.
Yeah.
But give us a little background on like you being in a band and.
Well, my first love, it's so I paid my way through college playing in bands.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I did have help, obviously, but in college, I would go to class and then finish class and either go to rehearsal or I went to Wichita State.
Okay.
And I would drive to Western Kansas. We'd play on a Wednesday night, and I'd drive back, go to school the next 2 days, drive back out Friday and play 2 nights. That was just part of it, but I really wanted to get signed, and that was my goal. And I really worked hard on that for a long, long time. The music business is very tough.
I can only imagine.
And, we recorded albums and have that creative side. But at some point I realized it's like, okay, I need to do something different.
Yeah.
And so I transitioned into video production from audio production and doing albums, stuff like that.
Okay.
And the creative side of it actually comes pretty easily for people that are musicians that get into video production, believe it or not.
Yeah, I can see that though.
So yeah, and so I just my parents are entrepreneurs, and I just kind of started doing it.
What'd your parents do?
Well, my dad, my parents, I have a stepdad, and my stepdad actually owned an oil well business out in Western Kansas, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Very, very entrepreneurial. And my dad was Ewing Kaufman's director of HR.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I say entrepreneurial. I mean, he worked for Mr. Kaufman, but
yeah, that's great though.
I feel like I got a little bit of that DNA from just being around some of that, and so I always knew I couldn't work for anybody very easily.
Yeah.
I'm driven and I want to do these things, and so I just did it.
Which, if I'm being honest, that's a little bit of where I'm at right now too.
Yeah.
So my background is I pretty much always worked in corporate America. And, a lot of my background, so I went to KU, Rock Chalk, Jayhawk, went to KU, and then I graduated, and then I actually started working at a really small public relations firm here in KC. But then I decided I wanted to move on, so I moved to Chicago. Ended up there for 13 years. And I worked at careerbuilder.com. I worked at a company called Travel Zoo for a while. So I really was on the sales side, which it's funny looking back now. I never loved being in sales.
Yeah.
It was stressful. It was quotas. It was
hit your numbers, don't you?
High activity. And I pushed myself through and, worked for some amazing companies. But it's funny looking back. I'm like, gosh, I never loved doing that. But on the flip side of things, it has taught me so much.
Yes.
It taught me so much about what I have now been doing for the past 8 years, which is really the networking and understanding how to connect with people and to deliver something that is of benefit to them. So I look back and I'm like, that was the best thing that I was ever able to do, even though I kind of hated it at the time because it was challenging. But now I'm at the point where, I'm building out the Kansas City Bucket List brand even more. So got the social media side, and now I'm doing the podcast, of course, which is me kind of being the creative director
yeah.
of my own direction. And I'm beyond excited about it to take this and have the ability to work with you and your team and work with other people to figure out like, how can I kind of be at the helm of this, but make it something that is huge for Kansas City, you know, where people can find a lot of inspiration from, and where they can learn a ton about how they can support the local economy and all this stuff. But at the same time, it's me kind of leading the direction of that, with no one else around besides the people next to me that are going to help me figure that out. And to your point too, you know, the meaning behind Kansas City Bucket List really came from this notion of back in the day, I was like, I want every day to be on my bucket list, which sounds a little bit cheesy. But at the end of the day, it was, I want to learn something new every day, or I want to do something new every day. Yeah. And it was really like, we live in this world where tomorrow isn't guaranteed, or, you know, you can find yourself going, what did I do today? What's going to happen tomorrow? And I just wanted every day to be as kind of like fruitful and fulfilling as possible. Yeah. And so that's where I'm like, I want to learn as much as I can from other people. And I think that's where this podcast is going to be incredible, is to be a sponge. And I always say I want to learn a little bit about a lot. Yeah. That's what I want. I want to learn a little bit about a lot. And I can't wait to bring a bunch of people in who are going to come from all these different backgrounds and do different things here that are going to basically live up to that. Yeah, that's really fun. Yeah. You know, the timing for this is really great too. Yeah. You know, you've got the World Cup coming. Oh, I know. And, so fun. That's going to be amazing. But the way we consume information now, you think about that. I mean, podcasting is blowing up like crazy. And a lot of people, just like you, they get their information from podcasts. Yeah, I know I do. Yeah. I mean, if I showed you right now every podcast that I follow, you'd be like, okay, how do you even keep up with that, right? Yeah. But that's my like knowledge that I want to get from the podcast. So I'm really excited for that too, because, you know, you think about the brands in Kansas City, small businesses. Yeah. I saw you're at 1587 the other day. I'm like, I want to go on the next one of those with you, by the way. Okay, sure. So I'll bring a camera. On my dime, by the way, too. Yes. Oh, was it? They didn't. I know. They 1587. What are we doing? What are we doing? But it was phenomenal, by the way. Yeah. Yeah. But I think that, you know, that kind of thing is that's how people, especially the younger generation, that's how they're getting their information. Yeah. And if you're not doing something like this as a business now, you're missing opportunities. Yes. And this is exactly what you and I were talking about. So to that point, that is me entering into that as well, because I recognize the fact that, you know, obviously I've been in the world of video with reels and that kind of thing. But to me, it got to a point where I'm like, this isn't enough. I want to diversify it. I want to get more, you know, video content because we know that's where it's at. And I had not dived into the world of YouTube, and that's what we're going to do here, you know. And so as I'm telling people, as they're going to come on and be a guest of this podcast, just like you're doing, the advantage of it is like now we get beyond just the platform of Instagram. We're going to get you on Apple and Spotify. I'm going to get you on YouTube, which is new for me to build out that brand, or to build out that outlet. But you and I talked about it, like, this is both an opportunity for me and my brand, but then for you to educate people as well on what you guys are doing to create this video content for people to take it and then build out their brand on YouTube and, you know, some of the other platforms as well. Like, they're literally, the statistics show, right? Like, YouTube is the place that you need to be. And I think that that's one thing that we can really help a lot of people listening to this to go, okay, I'm not there. How do I get there? How do I need to do that? And, you know, between us talking about it here and what you guys do, you know, you guys are a huge opportunity for people to start creating that. Right. And getting on that platform. When you think about YouTube, it's the second most searched website. Yeah. So behind people Google. Right. Yeah. And Google owns YouTube. So, but if you're not there and you want to be found like through a search type thing, think about the small businesses in Kansas City. Yeah. I mean, this is going to offer them an opportunity to actually, you know, this podcast could come up on a search and people could find their business through that this podcast. That's amazing. Yeah, that's the goal. You know, and that's the thing about the power of what this and video and, you know, all those things is like, if you really think about the strategy behind it, it's not just about, I mean, I love beautiful images and making great videos and impacting people. That's obviously key. Yeah. But there's a lot more strategy behind doing it the right way
to help people and help businesses.
Well, and I like too the fact that the podcast and what we're going to do together, what you do currently with podcasts and then what you're going to do with the Kansas City Bucket List podcast as well, is we can now take what I typically have done in the past, which of course is like a 30 to 60 second video that you put on Instagram or something. But here we're now going to get into the world of the long form content that a lot of people are really craving and really want to both watch and listen to. But then we're going to have that 30-second teaser. So you get like the best of both worlds where people can both get the teaser if they want that little bit of information to go act on maybe the company that's here, or of course take the teaser with the goal to then go watch the full, call it 45-minute podcast where they get to really hear the full background, the full story of the people or the business that we're going to be having come in here. So
I mean, you think of some of the podcasts like New Heights.
Oh yeah.
I mean, what they do is put out these poignant moments in their podcast and like, oh, I need to go listen to that.
I mean, I just watched George Clooney yesterday.
Yes.
I'm like, okay, so how do I get George Clooney on this podcast? Yeah, we'll get there. But
we have some pretty good local celebrities that we should try to get on the. I mean, the Big Slick.
Oh, I know.
We need to have them.
Believe me, that is my goal, is to get connected with so many of those people, because I would have such a fun time like chit-chatting it up with them and asking them so many questions. But you've worked with some really high-profile clientele. Can you talk a little bit about what you've done? I think this is a time for you to kind of brag a little bit about what Real Media has done.
We've been pretty fortunate over the years. Yeah. I've done national TV spots. I've worked with lots of sports. Our originally we got started doing sports work, animations and stuff like that. So Trace Adkins and a lot of Ken Griffey Jr. We did all the Reds, all their stuff for years. The Chiefs, the Royals. We did the Open for the Super Bowl for NBC.
That's huge.
Yeah. That was in 2018, and that came about because I had a buddy that actually worked for the company that was doing the graphics part of it, and he said, "Hey, we're wanting to do 3D versions of Tom Brady and Nick Foles for the Super Bowl, and put it in a gaming engine." And he said, "Can you do that?" And I'm like, "Well, let me see."
Yeah.
And so we had an animator at the time that had gaming engine experience, and I'm like, "I think we can do it."
Yeah.
And so we did a practice run. And it went great. So we ended up getting that project.
That's huge.
And it had never been done before. So we actually got scans of Tom Brady and Nick Foles like 3 days before the Super Bowl.
Okay.
We put those into a 3D engine, animated them, and we did all the movement, like through wearing a suit.
Yeah.
Put that movement on the actual 3D model, and so you got Tom Brady looking down. Well, that was us wearing a suit doing that.
Oh my gosh!
And then put it back in a gaming engine, and then they projected that on the field. So it never had been done before.
I honestly can't even wrap my brain around what you just said.
Yeah.
It sounds highly impressive, and then I'm like, how can we do that together? How can we do that?
We just need to get 3D scans of us.
Yeah.
But it was a neat thing to be able to do that. We've worked on a national documentary on history of women's basketball.
Yeah.
We just have, we have these opportunities come.
Yeah.
And I always say yes, and then I go to my team and I'm like, I said yes to this. Can we do this?
Yeah. Can we make this work? Yeah.
Have a great team.
Yeah.
So, and we're getting into new things, like we're going to start doing virtual sets. So basically you'll be able to go on the green screen, and with the gaming engine, we'll put an environment behind you that looks like you're there. Any environment. So think of it like you could say we wanted to do a video with you in front of Union Station.
Yeah.
But today it's snowy and we can't go there.
Yeah.
But if we had footage of that, or we built that in 3D, we could still put you in front of that in the green screen, and nobody would know the difference.
Okay.
So it's really, kind of the way.
Is it for commercials? Is it
all
for
kinds
website?
Of different things.
Is it for a lot of different needs?
A lot of different things, yeah. So interviews and news hits. I mean, there's all kinds of different things. So there's just a lot of opportunity out there. You just have to kind of, in our business, we've had to adapt and change. And I'm always looking for new opportunities for us. And I'm really focused on quality. That's why this studio is, I can't stand anything that's not great quality.
Yeah.
I hear it all the time.
And again, like number one reason why I wanted to work with you, kicking this off. Like I wanted to do it right. And it was just so obvious that you had like an amazing setup going. So.
Yeah. And it, this has evolved. We didn't, the first few podcasts we did, we had trouble and we had to figure things out, and we had some failures and stuff like that. I'm not embarrassed to say it, but we learned from those, and we've gotten really good at it.
Yeah.
And wanting to expand that now, so it's a lot of fun. I love having people in here all the time.
Oh, I know. Yeah, and chatting it up.
Yeah.
And you have a mascot around here somewhere. I don't know. I think
she's asleep.
Maggie is asleep on the floor, which I had asked you when I came here if this place was dog friendly, because if I was able to bring my dog in here, he might have to make a little presence with me.
Yeah.
Some episodes.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
We love dogs, actually.
Yeah. Good.
So my creative director has a dog, and Carly, our audio engineer, has a dog. And when they're all here together, it's chaos.
I was going to say, do they get along? Are they buddies? Are they?
Yeah. Yeah, they get along. They get along pretty well.
Yeah.
But the hallway here makes a big L, and that's like a runway. So it's like for 15 minutes, they're running back and
There's
forth.
There's some zoomies happening here and there.
And then they get tired.
Funny. Yeah.
And then they're done after that. So we just let them have their 15 minutes of getting crazy.
Yeah.
And then it's all good. But
I love it.
I love having dogs around. There's just something about,
they're the best.
they just make you feel better.
They are the best. Yeah. Okay. So I have a question for, so first of all, with my podcast, the plan is to bring a lot of people in.
Yeah.
I'm super excited. I've already been laying the groundwork to bring a lot of people in for them to tell their story.
Yeah.
And again, this is all about really highlighting them, who they are, what they've done, what they're doing, what they plan on doing moving forward, and of course, how people can find them and partner with them or buy from them or whatever the case may be. For people who both come on as a guest or people who are listening to this that might be starting a business, especially for people who just have not gotten into either the investment of time or money with creating video content for their company, what's your recommendation for a good starting point when you have people come on to Real Media? What are kind of some baby steps that people do to invest in creating that for their company?
The first thing that I always do is a strategy session. Okay. Because there are a lot of companies that go out there and say, well, you just need a marketing video, you just need this. And I don't really like that. I want to sit down and I want to understand who you're trying to reach. What are their pain points? Where are they online? Yeah. What voice are they going to respond to? And once we kind of understand that and say, okay, here are some things that I think would work in helping you get your message out. Yeah. Maybe it's a podcast. Maybe it's a live streaming event. Maybe it's a commercial. Yeah. Maybe it's social media content. And the great thing about us is we have the ability to do all of that in-house. So we don't have to outsource any of those things. So we can be really, really efficient in saying, okay, we're going to create your branding packages, put some motion to it. That's going to be on every piece of content. And we're going to build this list. And you're getting a custom plan, basically. That's kind of the idea. Okay. And so that's unique for us to be able to do that. There's companies that do little parts of what we do. Okay. But there aren't any companies that do everything we do in one place.
Okay, perfect. Because I was going to ask what differentiates you here in the Kansas City market.
Yeah. So that's the case. And we're not going to be the least expensive option, but we're not going to be the most expensive. We're in the middle. Yeah. But
again, that quality is at the
quality and value. I mean, I think that when you can go to one place and get all your stuff done, that's a big win for brands.
Yeah. Well, and to be honest with you, as I am now launching my podcast, the fact that one, of course, that you are doing other people's as well, but two, you host your own podcast. So it's like following your lead of what you are literally doing firsthand for me to learn from you, because you've no doubt learned a ton doing this. How long have you even had your podcast?
Well, probably a couple of years. I haven't been very consistent. Yeah. But I tell people this, and I'm pretty open about it. I don't do my podcast necessarily for the same reasons that you might do yours. Right. Yeah. I really am interested in hearing people's stories, but it's not like a consistent thing for our podcast, which is kind of against the rules. Yeah. I mean, you want to be consistent in your content, but I do. Quite frankly, I do it just to meet people. Yeah. And people love being on podcasts, I mean, this week, I had Buddy Bianca on. Yeah. Bianca Lana on this morning. Joel Goldberg. Yep. what an awesome, that's going to release. That was an awesome.
Yeah.
And then the CEO of Advent Health.
Yeah.
And Sam, he was amazing.
You're like rubbing elbows in KC, but you're also having the best like organic time with these people.
Right.
Having a conversation with them.
And
so,
you know, the beauty of it, everybody loves telling their story.
They do.
And
yeah.
It's like, oh my gosh, let me tell you about this. And
yeah.
I have this ability to kind of help them feel good and feel comfortable. And
I think that's why I like you so much is like, I feel the same as you. Like so I kind of have this ongoing joke.
I can see that with you too, by the way.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I have this ongoing joke. My sister and I have one sister, she's 3 years older than me. And we have realized over time that we ask a lot of questions when we're around people. And we never even knew that it was something that was happening that like maybe other people didn't do. And now it's like, certain people that I'm around a lot, whether it's like good neighbor friends or, you know, friends from college or whatever, they know that if you're going to be around me, I'm going to dive in and be like, tell me what's going on. What was this like? What did you do? You know, almost to a point of like, okay. But I think that's what I just am like so passionate about is I love to hear about other people. And you know, for me, I've learned too in the world that we live in today and also just like listening to podcasts, being in the world of throwing myself into podcasts. We live in a world where people want to be seen and heard.
Yeah.
That is the root of like human beings, I think. And that's where it really came, you know, I got that clarity of just like, I have to start this. Like I've made these amazing connections with people in Kansas City.
Yeah.
But now let's take it to the next level where we can really hear them long form, hear more of the backstory, and do it in my way of how I connect with people and kind of pull those stories just like you do out of them. And I'm like, this is something that I feel very passionate about. I do feel like it's something that I'm able to do well, knock on wood, hopefully, with, you know, everybody coming in.
At this,
but I truly am like so excited about it because we're going to get some like, so how I built this is a podcast I listen to, you know, I feel like we're going to get a lot of that, right? Talking to people here who've built a business, like, how did you do it? How did you, you know, where did it start? How did you get it to here? This kind of thing. You know, and there's so many people who are local makers or trying to start something that like they can now get the backstory of somebody within their own market of how they were able to do it and could literally sit down and have coffee with them, you know, and chat with them after hearing their story. And then other people who are in the nonprofit world or who've gone through maybe even like a traumatic situation to tell their story and how they got through it. I mean, there's just so much to learn from other people to give, you know, people confidence in moving forward in their own situation, which is exactly, I think, what you're doing on so many levels too.
And the great thing about podcasting too is it's like, it's so like, I'm seeing the real you right now.
Yeah.
And
the no scripting.
Yeah. And to me, there's power in that. It's just like probably why Joe Rogan's so, you know, he's so popular. He's like, he is who he is. He doesn't care what you think.
Right.
But he's, you know, he's getting these people on here that are you know, Elon Musk and all these guys that are.
For 3 hours. Should I do a 3-hour podcast?
I don't think so.
Is that a bit long?
It's like I have to go. I go through a whole week of workouts just to listen to one of his podcasts.
I know. It's true.
But you know, Billy Bob Thornton was on recently, and I watched that podcast because I'm really interested in film and you know him and all that stuff, and it was unscripted. Like I feel like I know him now.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the beauty of this.
How else would you ever get that? You're not going to get it from a TV interview. You're not going to get it from, you know, it's through the world of podcast where you've got the Brad Pitts and George Clooney's of the world talking to the Kelsey brothers, just sitting on their couch. You know?
I know. I
like,
can't believe
wild.
that they're getting those guys on there.
I know.
That's
I love
amazing.
It.
That's amazing.
I know.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So Casey Bucket List, I mean, it's a force.
Well, thank you.
It really is. It's amazing.
Fun.
And how did you start that? I mean,
good question.
I want to hear how, I mean, you've built that into an amazing platform.
Thank you so much. It's been fun. Well, the net out is that it started because I needed a creative outlet. I was working in the corporate world for, I think I mentioned that, for a very long time. And I was getting to the point.
But here in Kansas City?
Well, both Chicago and Kansas City.
Okay.
So my husband and I moved here about 10 years ago from Chicago. And we had one daughter at the time, Liv, who is now 11. So she's in 6th grade. And then we since have had our second daughter, Elin, who is 8 in 3rd grade. But we moved from Chicago because cost of living, weather, traffic. We unfortunately did have to leave our family that was there. I do have family here, so we came to be close to my sister and her family who are here. I went to KU, so I had a connection here and a lot of great, great friends that live here. And so we moved here, but coming from Chicago, we lived the Chicago lifestyle, so I should back it up a second. My husband and I, we were together for a couple of years before we had our daughter Liv. And then, of course, before we ever met each other, we were living in Chicago, living your 20s, as you do.
Great place to be 20 years old, by the way.
Great place to be 20 years old. I know people always are like, would you ever move back? And I'm like, no. But if you could take me back to my 20s in Chicago, I would do it all day long because I had the best time.
Yeah.
But anyway, when we lived there, we did so much. We would go out to eat. We would go to concerts. We would go down to, the beach or whatever the case may be, like doing all kinds of festivals and things like that. So when we moved here, it was very natural for us to do the same thing. Now, granted, we live in South Overland Park. There's not a ton going on there culturally.
Yeah.
But we would find the things to do. And one thing that I say is that my dad, my brother-in-law, and my husband, we basically had gotten them a gift card to go to the J. Rieger distillery for like Father's Day. But this is before it is what it is now. There was nothing there. It was just like the warehouse that they had. And so little things like that, they did that. We would go find a restaurant somewhere like on the west side. And I remember having friends being like, where are you finding this stuff? And I'm like, well, what do you mean? Right? You just kind of find the things that you want to do, But it occurred to me that not everybody operates the way that I do by going and like diving into finding the things that you want to do here. And then I was actually on maternity leave with Elin, our daughter, who's now 8. And it just really hit me. Again, I just had this clarity of like, I need a creative outlet. I have been in corporate sales for a very long time, and it's just burnout mode. And it's, And of course, flash forward now, I'm like, I'm a creative person. I'm an ideas person. Mm-hmm. This is what I love to do. I just wasn't doing it at the time, professionally. So long story short, I kind of threw around the idea of like, well, what if I started an Instagram account to start documenting where we're going? I love taking photos for fun. I love talking to the people, as I mentioned, about like, how'd you come up with the name of this place? Like, what's the backstory?
Yeah, right.
And it actually took me a couple months to start it because I was like, well, there's other people doing that already. I'm behind the times, right? Which is hilarious to think about now, right? Because everything just evolved so much. But it took me probably about 4 to 6 months before I pulled the trigger and was like, you know what? You got to do this. So I remember it was October of 2017. And I was coming up with a name. And I had mentioned before that actually living back in Chicago, I had this idea for whatever reason. Every day is on my bucket list.
Yeah.
And so I thought, well, let's just do Kansas City bucket list. Everybody knows what the concept of a bucket list is, right? And so it was available, thankfully. And then I just started doing it. And I just started posting. And, of course, we would go out to dinner on our own. And I would just take photos and, kind of learn the details of the restaurant inside and out or the, festival that we went to. And I just started posting and it just organically took off, And then a lot of giveaways later.
Yeah.
Giveaways are big on Instagram, but I really truly did get into the world of doing giveaways, which helps a lot to build your audience. But it was great. And then I just started connecting with so many people, so many business owners. And then it kept opening all these doors to do more, both for me, my husband and I, our family to do. And I found and continue to find so much, honestly, so much joy out of doing it.
Yeah.
I get so excited to go out and do the thing and to get the pretty photos, and to talk to the people there and then to feature it. Now I'm at the point where, as I mentioned before, like I want to diversify. I want to take it into more of this long form storytelling that you can't do on Instagram. But it's just been 8 years of like consistently doing and featuring and monitoring and building. It's been awesome.
Has it been fun to watch it grow?
Yeah.
I mean, it's how many? It's 90,000 or something like that, right?
Yeah, it's like 94,000, I think, right now. So, and it's also been really interesting to watch how the world of social media has evolved too, because, as we know, TikTok blew up during COVID.
Yep.
Instagram, even the algorithm on Instagram has changed quite a bit. And that's why it's been really fun to like now look into YouTube and talking with you and like what that's looking like. And I'm like, this is the time to now add this on to get people that I'm talking about and featuring. Like they need to be on YouTube, but via my storytelling, which is super exciting. But I just like, it's the thing that keeps me up at night in the best way.
Yeah.
Because it's so much fun. Yeah.
So you're already a high level from Instagram standpoint. Mm-hmm. I mean, what here I am interviewing you. This is
this is exactly what we want.
I'm jumping into this.
Yeah.
But I'm really interested in this. It's like what are you looking at a year from now, 5 years from now? I mean, this could be huge.
Well, it's funny. People used to ask me all the time, like, why don't you just quit your job and just do Kansas City Bucket List on Instagram full time? And I always was like, no, it's very niche. It's one market. Truly, there's only so much budget to be had to make money on, that platform. And it was meant to be hyper local, right? Like there's not a lot of venturing out into brands that don't have anything to do with Kansas City. I will at times, but it's very selective.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I don't want it to turn into like all paid and, sponsored, that kind of thing. But then flash forward to, middle of this year, that's when this whole relationship started happening. And I was like, this is the next thing. This is the time. I had such clarity to leave what I was doing before and to build this brand out. But like I said, I knew it wasn't just going to be via Instagram and doing that, making money that way. There had to be something more to it. And that's where I'm like, this is the next it thing. Like, if I'm being honest with you, I would love for this to be the Kansas City podcast that people find entertainment in and understand. There's a big part I kind of referenced earlier. There's a big part for me of like, why are you shopping local? Why are we so big about like everything's local? Because it makes a difference. And I want people to then learn, I want people to learn like why it makes a difference to shop local or what it means to support a restaurant versus a chain. We all shop Amazon and chains and do that stuff. But like, this is the opportunity, I think, where people can really understand what's behind it all. And then, or even like, find one of the guests to come on and go, maybe I have a doctor or somebody come on, and this is exactly the thing that they're looking for. That they're like, well, now I know. I heard this person. I loved what they had to say. I'm going to go see if I can get a, consultation with them or something like that. And that's the plan, is to have a variety of people, a variety of subject matter to come in. And so I think for me, I do want this to be, to blow up the Kansas City Bucket List brand, to be a bigger place where people can find entertainment, inspiration. You mentioned FIFA. I would love for people to come in and find this podcast, and to be like, okay, what do I need to know about Kansas City?
Exactly.
And they're listening to it on their plane ride or whatever, wherever they're living around the world. Like,
everybody's going to be looking where to go and all those things. This is a great place to do that. And clearly,
I'm not the only one here doing that. We've got a wealth of people that are doing this like amazing content creation. But I think at the end of the day, I think that for me, it is like I am so super excited to really tap into what I love to do. And I think that's very hard to find something professionally that you love to do and get really excited about. You can speak to that.
Right.
So part of it is for me to finally have found that at the right time. But I genuinely love like putting people on a pedestal here and to feature their story, starting with the last 8 years of Instagram. Like, it's not about me. It's about what this company does and why you should go shop them or go eat their sandwich. So
are you surprised at how big your Instagram following has gotten? Did you have any ideas? Like,
No, it's the classic, like, I have no idea what's going to happen, But I remember back when I started it, I was at like 998 followers. And my friend Jen and I were like, how do we get you over the 1,000 hump?
Yeah.
And it was like, she told her husband to follow me and her neighbor. I was like, oh, I made it over the 1,000 hump. But then, but now we live in a world, too, where it's like the micro, smaller influencers are super important for brands to work with too.
Right.
So I might have 94,000 followers, but the person with 9,400 followers is equally as important because they have a completely different kind of audience or message as well. And that's what's really fun, is to see how everybody can play a part in it. And again, building it up to what it is now, it's been amazing. And I'm going to continue doing that, but then add this on as the next category to like take it to the next level.
Yeah, hopefully,
which is fun.
Hopefully they all rise.
Yes, exactly.
The goal. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I bet you get asked all the time, like, how did you do that?
Yeah.
Do you get asked that question?
I do,
because everybody wants to get more followers.
I do get asked that all the time. You know what I also get asked is, what's your favorite restaurant that you've been to lately?
Yeah.
And I freeze. I have no idea. It's like I almost forget where I've been.
Yeah.
I have to go, I don't know, let me go back and look at my Instagram page, which is exactly what they can do too. But I'm like, where did I go last week? I don't remember. But then you also become, or I become like, I can't be partial. It's hard for me to be like, what's your favorite restaurant in Kansas City? I'm like, I don't know. There's so many of them.
Right.
But that actually brings me to, so a fun thing that I'm going to do is rapid fire questions.
Okay, good.
Right? And so I have
good.
a couple for you.
Yeah.
If you're ready for it. So.
Okay.
Okay, so let's start with what is currently on your Kansas City bucket list? What do you want to do?
Well, that's a good question.
And no, I did not give these to you before.
Nope,
to
you
prepare,
did not.
So,
So I have to tell you, my son and daughter-in-law, they're 30 and they're
Okay.
foodies, and they tell my wife and I, you need to try this restaurant. You need to try this
Perfect.
restaurant. So we are really, and we've had like great experiences. Scratch is one of our favorite places
Over in
now.
Prairie
There's a
Village.
little place down like 19th Street on the west side of Kansas City, a little restaurant there. And I cannot remember the name of it. I feel bad.
is it West Side or Crossroads or?
It's
do you know which?
it's west of Crossroads, so it'd be west side. Yeah,
Triune.
that might be it.
Okay.
That might be it.
Yeah.
So
Great.
we love going to those places.
Yeah.
So for my wife and I, we're empty nesters now.
Yeah.
And like this is the time for us to go try new things and go to different places. So I think for us, I don't really have like one bucket list thing in Kansas City that I want to do.
Yeah.
But we just want to go find these little, hidden gems.
Yep.
Is what I call them.
Yeah.
And like when we go on vacation, that's what we like to do. Tell us the place that nobody else knows about that we can go have
That's
breakfast.
the best thing to do when you travel is to talk to the locals and they'll tell you where to go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which actually is one of my questions is, do you have a favorite hidden gem in Kansas City?
Well,
Or maybe you can tell me after you and your wife start exploring.
yeah, no, we really love Scratch.
Okay.
I mean,
perfect.
for us, that place. So we have all of our anniversary dinners there.
And it's Shops Prairie Village.
Yeah,
Right.
right. And I'm a little bit of a sugarholic.
Oh, great.
So
Okay.
at Scratch, they have this chocolate thing. I don't know if you've seen it. It's like
but
it looks like a globe.
I will add it to my bucket list now.
It's about this big.
Okay.
And they put ice cream and cake inside of it, and then they pour hot chocolate on it, and it like melts and goes all over it. And it's like,
Oh my gosh.
I'm in a coma after I eat that, but I'm like,
You're not driving home after that.
It's so good.
Okay, that's good. See, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So then I wanted to know, who would you like to see or hear on the Kansas City Bucket List podcast? Somebody here.
Well,
Although you've got pretty amazing people coming in, so.
I would love to hear some of our big slick personalities on here.
Yeah.
To me like
too.
Paul Rudd.
Yep.
Some of the guys.
I'd love to have Heidi on.
Yeah.
Love Heidi Gardner. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, can you imagine? That would be.
Yes, I can imagine.
Yeah.
And that's where we manifest this to happen.
Yes,
that would
it
be,
will.
That
It's
would
going
be
to happen.
ideal.
It's going to happen. But I think that kind of that would be so fun.
Yep. Yep.
Like when they're in town. Like if you had, just give
That'd be
us
a
a
dream.
couple hours and we'll just get them in back to back. Wouldn't that be a blast?
Yeah, we're going to make this happen.
Yes.
We'll see who we know who can help us make this happen. I would take him for 10 minutes, right?
Yeah,
Just get some jokes thrown around.
That's all you need.
Perfect.
That's all you need. But that would be really, really fun. And I think, we have a lot of really good personalities in Kansas City that could be great. Obviously, you've got, the Chiefs and the Royals and things like that you could really tap into. But I just think, getting Kansas City people that are making a worldwide impact on here would be awesome.
So many of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay.
Done and done.
That was it?
That was it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Anything else you want to talk about?
Well, no, I will say, I'm just really excited about this too. And I think that this is going to be a really neat thing for Kansas City.
Yeah.
It's going to be a great place to get information.
Yep.
It's going to be, we can probably have a lot of fun doing this too.
Yeah. The goal is to have a lot of fun. We'll make it funny. It's going to be entertaining. Yeah, it's going to be really fun. So, yeah.
Maybe you should get some comics on here too. Maybe some Kansas City comics.
I have a couple in mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're on my list. I have a long list of people that I am contacting.
Yeah, that could be. and I think if you're listening to the podcast, you should have some. Can people reach out to you? I'm sure and say, hey, here's somebody that should be on here.
Yes. Okay. So you could reach out to me at kansascitybucketlist@gmail.com. That's the way to get in touch with me. Obviously, Kansas City Bucket List on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. And Kansas City Bucket List podcast now has its own Instagram account. So I'm excited to marry the two together to really feature a lot of the podcast content there, but it'll collab, with my page that I've had for 8 years, the obvious benefit to kind of build off that amazing platform.
Yeah.
And then Mindy Hargesheimer on LinkedIn. So I'm excited to bring more into LinkedIn as well. It's a really great place where clearly everybody's talking about what they're accomplishing here in Kansas City. So this is really going to spread out to a lot of different platforms from what I've been doing today. So that's the main thing.
And YouTube, right?
Obviously, YouTube. Yes, definitely Kansas City Bucket List on YouTube.
Kansas City Bucket List on YouTube.
Kansas City Bucket List on YouTube.
Yeah, awesome.
And what about you? So where will people find you?
Well, you can find us at realmediakc.com.
Okay.
That's our main webpage. The podcast that we do is called In a World. You have to say In a World with Real Media. In a World with Real Media.
Okay.
And you can find that on all the platforms.
Yep.
Spotify. It's funny. If you're on Spotify, are you getting the deal right now where it tells you your age, the age of the music that you listen to?
Oh, no, because I do Apple Music, but
okay.
Maybe that's why.
Sorry, maybe we should cut that. But
no, but I do feel like I'm missing out with Spotify. Don't they have that thing where it's like, here's everything you listen to the most or whatever?
They're just coming out this time of year, and so mine was 32. It projects your age.
Oh, your age. Oh, that's right, your age. Okay.
The age of. So I'm 32. The music I listen to apparently. I thought that was kind of funny.
Did you like that answer?
I did.
Okay.
I did like that. Yeah.
Love it.
I like all kinds of music, so I think that's pretty awesome.
Oh, fantastic.
So find us there. Apple. We're Facebook, all the places from social media standpoint, and we have lots of on our website and especially on our YouTube channel. If you go to YouTube, there's a lot of case studies. So we talked about the Super Bowl project.
Yes. Yeah.
There's about a 15 or 20 minute video on there where we showed exactly how that whole thing happened and how we did it and all this stuff. It's kind of fun to watch stuff like that. But all those places, Real Media KC is normally what we show up as.
Okay.
And you can find out a lot about us.
Yeah. And I should say, too, obviously this podcast is going to syndicate to Apple and Spotify as well. So
and
super
YouTube.
Fun to get into this world, into YouTube. Yeah, those three places. So.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. Well, thank you so much for being with me today.
Yeah.
This was really fun to do. And I'm super excited to have your team behind me to help this podcast come to life. It's going to be, I think, such a great addition to tell people's stories here in Kansas City. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. All right. Thank you guys so much for listening or watching today. We're incredibly grateful to have you here. Make sure that you are following Kansas City Bucket List Podcast on Instagram. Look for Kansas City Bucket List on YouTube, where you can watch all of the content. You'll find us on Apple, Spotify, and of course, Kansas City Bucket List on Instagram. Thank you so much for tuning in and finding inspiration in these incredible stories. If you love what you hear, be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode, leave a rating, and share the show to help these Kansas City voices reach even more listeners.